Hello, 5th graders. We are going over our snapshot assessment, which would be day 3. And what we are going over today is going to have a lot to do with place value, and it is things that we have learned before, but it might take a second for it to come back because these are things that we did at the very beginning of the year. Before we start, at the top somewhere on your paper, I want you to make sure that you refresh yourself on that place value chart. So let's just draw one. I'm going to make, let's see, this many, and I'm going to put the, right there, and maybe I'll add some this way. So, starting this way, this is my ones place, my tens, hundreds, next is thousands, and 10,000s, and we could keep going. And then to this way, here's my ones. Just kidding. Remember, that's not a thing. It goes right to tenths. And then hundredths. Thousands. And then that would be 10,000s, but we're not going to worry about that. All right, now I'm going to come back and we're going to get started with this. Now, before we start, something that we're going to, noticing some vocabulary right off the way. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Some vocabulary right off the bat that we're going to need to talk about. Biggest thing is going to be expanded form. Now, can we remember what expanded form is? Expanded form is going to be really important that we're looking at that place value chart, because that's the one where we're going to have to use our parentheses. So if I'm looking for expanded form of 41, then it's going to be 4 times whatever place value that's in, and that is 10. So times 10 plus 4 times 1. Now, the biggest thing I want you to remember when we're doing expanded form, that if there is a 0 somewhere in there, we are going to have to not forget about that and not mix up our place values. So we have to remember that the 0 is still in the tens place. It doesn't mean the 1 is in the tens place, if that was the number we were doing. The 1 is still in the ones place. Does that make sense? All right, so if we're getting right started on this first one with expanded form, then let's just get started. I see that 2, and I see it's in the tens place, so I'm going to do 2 times 10. See the 4, and I see it's in the ones place, so 4 times 1. And I see the 5, and I see it's in the tens place, so I'm going to do times 1/10. If you would rather, you can also write that as 1/10. Those both work because they mean the same thing. And then plus 6 times 0, 10, which is 100th, which again you can write like that if you please. Now, the next one, if we're writing out the number name, that means we just need to write out as if we were saying it, which doesn't mean we say 24.56, because that's not how we say it correctly. So it would be 24. And every time we see a decimal, we say and. 56, am I done? No, 56 what? What place value is that 6 in? 5 is in the tenths, so 6 is in the hundredths, so 56 hundredths. Give you a second to write that down. Then I'm going to erase a little bit so that we can move on to that second one. All right. Write 26 and 76 hundredths in base 10 numerals. So basically write it as a number in base 10, which is what how we always write numbers. All right, so 26 and 76 hundredths. So that and automatically tells me that that is where the decimal point is, correct? So I know that to the left of it is going to be 26, because those are whole numbers. And then to the right of it, 76 hundredths. I'm going to check now if I write those, is the 76 tenths hundredths? That's correct. It could be tricky and say thousands, and I'd have to put a 0 in there, but that's not where I'm at. All right, 26 and 76 hundredths. Double check that. Good job. All right, which is less? 204 tenths or 204, what spot is this in? Hundredths. Well, first I want to write out this other number in numerals too, just so that we can compare them. So 204 tenths. 200 and means the decimal, and 4 tenths, that's in the tenth spot. So I'm looking through. Same, 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 different. So now the bigger number is going to be the number that has the biggest digit in the biggest place value. So since we know that tenths are always bigger than hundredths, and 4 is bigger than 0, then 204 tenths is bigger than 4 hundredths. If you're thinking about that, that's the difference between 4 out of 10 slices and 4 out of 100 slices. That's way larger, correct? So I'm going to say, because 4 tenths is much larger than 4 100ths. All right, now let's do the same thing here. Which is greater? Now I can get right into this because they're already in the same form, right? 224 and 56 hundredths or 242 and 56 hundredths. Let's see. Hundredths place, they're the same. The tenths place, they are different. Now again, we're looking for the number is bigger. Since all the other place values are the same, the number that's bigger is going to have the biggest number, the largest place value. So in tens, which is bigger? 4 or 2? Since 4 is bigger, is larger, 342 and 56 hundredths, because I'm going to say 40 is larger than 20. All right, does that make sense? All right, good job, you guys.